My name, whoop, hey, 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 hey. I'm trying it in here because the lighting's better, but when I'm in here, my foster dog is obsessed with my cat. So if he is too noisy, I'll go in the other room. Um, so yes, when I do lives, this is real from my house with all my dogs right now. I have four, three of my own, one foster, and my cat, Sammy. Um, this beautiful dog is, I would keep him in a heartbeat, but he is not good with cats. So that's why my cat's locked up right now. And hi, Lonnie. So we have been doing a lot of crate and rotate. Okay, so hi, Shireen. Let me write today's date. And yes, the live is working. Um, Also, some of you come through as Facebook users. So make sure you give me your name. Hi. Like whoever said hi, Tracy, it just said Facebook user. So give me your name and then where you're from so I can add you into the live. I don't know why some people's names, like Lonnie's name came through, Shireen's name came through. Oh, Renee. Okay. Um, hey, Brian. Plus, my foster dog is deaf. So I can't just say, like, knock it off. Because he can't. Hey, come over here. He's been better with her, but you guys want to see a beautiful dog? Oh my gosh, he is so handsome. He is like the perfect dog. If it weren't for the cat situation, I would keep him. He's also got some separation anxiety, so I have to crate him when I leave. But he is like so good and mellow with all the other dogs. I had a puppy last weekend. He was perfect. Does not resource guard at all. I had to take a sock out of his mouth and nothing. One of my dogs has corrected him a few times and nothing. Like he is amazing. But unfortunately, I do Zoom consults and stuff like this, and he's a bit noisy in the background, um, especially with the cat. And if I put him outside or put him in a crate, he will bark and cry and whine and howl. So um, that is why I can't keep him. Otherwise, I would keep him in a heartbeat. Okay. We have two Renees, so thank you for giving me your last name. Louisiana. Oh, let's see. Delia, where are you from? And if you can give me your last name, that would be great too. Um, and just in case there's more than one, like Amy or Melody, give me your last name as if you could. I'm still going to write you down, but last names will make it easier for the folks at Pupford. Wow, Australia. Welcome. Okay. Oh, we have three Renees here tonight. That's exciting. Okay. Let's see, Renee, I have my own place, so that's going to be fun and be challenging with my dogs. Yes. Let's see, Facebook user. Oh, yes, Renee, I can see your Facebook, your name now. Let's see. It says, I don't see the love on my desktop. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, Julie. Wow, we got a good group tonight. And so, Renee is asking any tips for having dogs get used to new places. That's kind of what I was going to talk about, like at the beginning when I talk about a subject. Um, so I will talk about that for sure. Dylan, it says Joan. Your name's coming through, Dylan Younger, but then it says Joan from Virginia. So I'm just going to put Dylan, if that's okay. Oh, Amy. Let me go back up. Lingo. Okay, I got your Pennsylvania. Melody Simpson. Also, yes, Renee, I can see your last name. Oh, Delia Roldan. Once you come a few times and I get to know you, you won't have to give me your location anymore because I'll just remember it. Oh, let's see. Shireen, I did not see a question on my Facebook wall, but I have to tell you that I am not tech savvy. So was it on the Pupford wall or my own? And I mean, I see messages from like Messenger, and usually it'll tell me if I have a post, but I didn't see anything. But I will answer your question anyway. That's a good topic. Okay, Andrea. Andrea, yes, every time you come, I remember you're the one that says, I'll win sooner or later, right? You could win tonight. This is awesome. I'm going to have to go to a different page. Amanda Hagen, let me know where you're from, and I will enter you in the drawing. Oh, okay. I did see a few comments, and then I was getting ready, so I probably just didn't see it. But it's good to know that I'm not missing anything, because I seriously am tech challenged, which is why when this whole thing doesn't work sometimes, I have to get the awesome Devin, who's now living in New York, that works part-time for Pupford now, to fix it. And he's amazing. I don't know what I would do without him. Okay, so I think I got everybody. So let me go back and answer. First off, speaking of the Facebook wall, when I always, I say live Q&A, we'll be giving away a free item, because I know we have new people joining every single day. And so somebody made a comment like, it's not really free. They say it's free, but then the next day they ask you to buy something. I don't know what that means, but just so everybody knows, when I draw a name, you guys email, I give you the email address. I email Pupford and say the winner is so-and-so from Virginia or wherever. And then they mail out the free bag of treats. Now, for you guys that are winners, have you had any problems like getting your free treat, snuffle mat, flirt pole, like whatever we give away? Because it could be a coincidence where you get something free, and then I know that Pupford, like they have posts and stuff every day, and like I get the emails about different training topics, and there could be something like that that says purchase treats for your next training session. Those are totally separate. So yes, when you come and get entered and you win for the drawing, it is totally free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to buy anything after, um, like you can if you want. I'm sure they love it when you do. But yeah, it's free. So it's not a scam or anything like that. I didn't quite know what that person meant, but that's why I did post like, no, it really is free. Um, okay, so I'm going to first answer Renee. Any tips for having dogs get used to new places? So, well, one question: Renee? Do you mean like when you're training and then you train at like a Home Depot and then a park and then you train at different places? Or are you talking about like Ferdinand who has been displaced and now he's at my house and has to get used to that? Because it is a little bit different. I will kind of answer both. So I saw a question on Facebook about like a dog. Hang on. Hey, buddy. He's deaf, like I said, so I have to use hand signals, but I have to actually tap him with something to get his attention. So they said, my dog does great in the house, but then when we go outside, it's all out the window. That is totally normal. So think about training inside your house as preschool. Then if you go out into depending on how your house is situated, backyard is maybe elementary school. Front yard, if that's where people walk back and forth, traffic, UPS guy, that might be middle school. When you go to Home Depot, Petco, that's getting up into high school, college, PhD level. So we can't expect to take our dogs, like if you take your puppy into Petco and you're trying to do a sit or a stay or something like that, and they can't do it, that's because we're wanting them to behave in a PhD setting when they're still in preschool. So what I do, and I'm doing this a lot with Jade right now because she is a service dog in training, and we have to. Oh, good boy. So this is his click or his yes. So this tells him yes, that's what you're doing. Good boy, buddy. So if I'm going to a new place, and if I say sit to Jade, sometimes she just looks at me. But there's all these new smells and new people and new environment, and dogs do not generalize well. So it's like if your parents tell you, like when you were a kid, or you might tell your kids, like, okay, whenever we go out into public, you have to behave and you have to do this and this and this. And humans are better at generalizing. Okay, like anytime I go in public, I'm not allowed to do this, but I can do this. So just normal social graces. Dogs can't do that. So just because they know sit at your house doesn't mean they're going to do it somewhere else. So what I do is I start over as if the dog doesn't know it. I take treats, and depending on the area or the location, I might even use higher value treats. So I tell, some pet parents don't want to use treats. They're afraid I'm going to have to use treats forever. I look at it as my dog's paycheck. It's a reward. It's a reinforcer. It's like we wouldn't go to work if we didn't get a paycheck. So, kind of things like that. So when people come to puppy class and they only bring kibble, it's really hard for them to get their dog's attention because the dogs are seeing other puppies and other dogs, and they're like going crazy, and they're like, yeah, you just have kibble. Why should I pay attention to you? So in puppy class, I tell them, bring beef liver, bring salmon treats. I always have extra Pupford treats that I sell to people at class if they forget theirs or they don't bring something high enough value. So, oh, my dog's just heard the treat bag. But, you know, for class or higher distraction, I will use the salmon, the new shrimp. So Brian, I finally tried the shrimp. It the smell is stronger than the salmon. I don't like the smell of fish, but it works great. And in fact, I used it with a dog today where I needed a really high value treat for something, and I used the shrimp. So I will use something that is going to keep the dog's attention, and then I will start over as if I'm teaching the dog for the very first time. And that might mean a lure, like, you know, hand targeting, I'll put it in between my fingers. Or for a sit, I'll take it above their nose. Mark and treat. However, the dog should pick up on it quicker than they did the first time, because then they're like, oh yeah, I remember this. We did this at home. So yes, you have to kind of start over, but it shouldn't take as long. And then I will always take higher value treats. So another example, when we go to puppy class, my dog has learned, yes, in puppy class, I can do a recall. I can do mat work. I can do this because this is what I do in puppy class. If we go to like a doctor's appointment and she has to do a downstay, she's getting better and doing pretty good, but sometimes she's like, wait, I don't know what to do here. And so I might take higher value treats to like intermittently reward her for doing things. So does that make sense? So you kind of have to be willing to take a step back. And so like Renee, getting them used to new places, I always like to pair it with treats. So like, let's say your dog is afraid to go to the groomer. A few times I would take your dog into the groomer, give your dog treats, have the staff give them treats, let them check out all the equipment, let them smell the equipment, let them look at the brush, look at the clippers, and pair that with treats. So it's classical condition where you're pairing something that the dog may not know what it is or may not like. You're pairing that with something super yummy like treats. So that then the dog is like, oh, I like it when I go here because I get treats. So the other thing that's really important with new places is that you always want to give your dog choice and control. So let's say if you take your dog to the groomer and your dog doesn't want to walk in the door, if we pull them in or carry them in, we're kind of forcing them to go in and they could shut down. Like some dogs will be so terrified that they'll just shut down. So what I do is I will take treats and drop them on the floor. So I'll try to lure them, you know, especially lots of treats over threshold. So like through the door, you could toss treats. You can do things like hand targeting and then move your hand, just so they have the choice. But that's why I always tell my puppy clients, go to the groomer, go to the vet before it's your appointment, because then you kind of have to be on time. But if you do what I call happy visits, you can go as slow as you need to, let your dog come in, let them sniff, and then let them leave if they want. So Renee, did that answer your question? So yeah, pair with treats, go slow, go at their pace, not ours. Allow them to say they want to leave. I do the same thing when getting a dog used to a bathtub. So I'll put treats in and around it. If the dog's too small to jump in, I might like put him in with a lick mat or a bunch of hot dogs. But then if they want to get out, I let them out. So they always have choice and control. Okay. Now, on the other side, if you're talking about getting a dog used to new places, like if you rescue a dog, or like Ferdinand has been with me for 4 days, And even when I take in a new, board and train puppy, I usually always give them at least 2 days to kind of settle in. So, first thing, I get them on a routine. So, we go potty, then we have breakfast, then we go potty again. Then we'll do, depending on the age, 10-minute training session, and then we're going to do enrichment. And it's very scheduled, so the dogs get used to a routine. The first 2 days, I don't do the training sessions. I just get them used to the routine, let them get used to their surroundings. We do fun stuff like enrichment, um, go for walks and stuff like that. And then once they settle in, then you can start doing more. So the first 2 days that Ferdinand was here, he did not know where he was. It was a new place for him. And he was very, very nervous, like whined nonstop. And so I just got him on a schedule, kind of let him have run of the house, except for the cat, and showed him where the dog door was. We did the meals, we did enrichment. I started just teaching him, like, this means with the cat. This means good job, you get a treat. Things like that. After about 3 days, he settled right in. He sleeps through the night now. He does, if I put him in a crate during the day, he barks. I can hear him barking when I leave, but that's his separation anxiety. So, yeah, if I travel with my dogs, which I used to do a lot more than I do now, when I would go down to like southern Utah, Moab, things like that, sometimes I would take my dogs. And if we were staying in a motel, like, I would let them sniff. We would go out for a potty break, so they knew, like, there's usually only one door at a hotel or a motel, but we would go potty, go through the door. I would just let them kind of sniff, get used to it, set up their water, things like that. If I had to go somewhere where the dog couldn't go, I always brought a crate, because if you have a dog that is like nervous or has anxiety, sometimes they will chew and they will be destructive. So I always take a crate just for safety. So Renee, let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, so Shreen, I don't dare go back to the Pupford page because I'm afraid something will happen. If you, I'm going to just talk about separation anxiety, basically, and then if I didn't answer your question, you can ask it again, and I'll answer it. So separation anxiety can stem from a lot of things. Like, some dogs just have, a higher, they're more prone to have anxiety, and it can be genetics. It can be learning history. It can be like if their mom was in a really stressful environment when she was pregnant. If a mom has separation anxiety, she can pass that DNA on to her puppies. This dog is 11, and all I know about his history is that his home, his owner got cancer and was going through chemo. Hey, Willie, what are you chewing? Was going through chemo, all this stuff, and just was really sick and had to focus all of her time on getting well and couldn't take care of her dogs. So he went to the Humane Society. A friend of mine was fostering him, and then she got a job and moved, and so they didn't want to put him back in the kennel, because in the kennel environment, he just barks and howls like nonstop. So I said that I would foster him. Some of the other things that it can stem from is, like, during COVID, when everybody was getting COVID puppies, but then never leaving, the dogs didn't learn how to be by themselves. So if you're a puppy owner, then I would recommend Like I have some clients that say, well, we work from home, so we don't ever have to leave. I tell them, leave your dog, go check your mail and come back, or go to the grocery store, put your dog in a crate and come back, just so your dog gets used to being alone. A friend of mine fostered him for one night, and the next day she went to work and didn't have a crate, and he ruined a television because he got really anxious. And then sometimes when dogs get anxious, they get destructive. Um, some dogs will literally try to paw or chew their way like out of a house. Like they will chew sheetrock and stuff like that. Um, so it's like a dog having a panic attack. So if you have a puppy, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you start leaving your dog at home. Like just crate him, give him a toy in there, a lick mat, and start to leave for short amounts of time. So like, go out on your porch and sit and read a book for 5 minutes, come back in. Also, when you leave and come back, you want to do it as low key as possible. So when you come back, you don't want to be, oh, good job, you did so good. Yeah, I knew you could do it, because that gets them amped up. So we want to keep their energy level down. So like I'll put them in a crate, not say anything, not say, okay, you guys be good, I promise I'll be back, because that can make them anxious. So I just don't say anything, put them in a crate, leave, and then when I come back, I'll put my stuff down, casually walk over, unlock the crate, and let them out. So some dogs can start to get anxious before you even leave because they pick on cues. They pick up on cues. So like for me, my dog Jade, when she hears my GPS, because I'll put in my first address where I'm going, and as soon as it says starting route 2, Jade will automatically jump off the couch and get excited because it's like, oh, mom's leaving. Do I get to go? When I close my laptop in the morning, Jade knows it's almost time to go. If you put your shoes on, if you grab your keys, if you grab your bag, your coat, your dog can pick up on those cues and already start to get anxious. So one little exercise you can do is desensitize your dog to those. So, put something in your phone, have your GPS tell you your directions, but then don't leave. Pick up your purse, put it on your shoulder, walk to your door, turn the doorknob, and then go put your bag down and go about your business. So you do all of these things, but then you don't leave. So those cues no longer mean that you're leaving. And then, Sharina, it helps if you have a camera, because then you want to start like disappearing around a wall for 2 seconds, come back, and then 5 seconds, come back. And then you work up to going out your front door and back in. But you want to watch your dog, because you want to come back before your dog gets anxious. So if you start to see really subtle, like a lip lick or pacing, you want to come back. So you always try to come back before they get anxious. And then you just start to increase that time. The protocols for separation anxiety have changed. And so now they don't even recommend that you crate your dog. The only reason that I crate him is because I'm not going to have him long term, and I have to go to work, and I don't want him to destroy stuff. So he's in a crate, basically to save my house. So, and I know that if I'm gone, chances are he is going to find a way to like knock the cat condo over or do something to try to get to the cat. So it's for her safety as well. There's a really good book. I don't know if I have it here. I have so many books that a lot of them are upstairs. Oh. So this lady, Marlena DiMartini Price, she is like the guru expert on separation anxiety. Um, Pupford also has a course on separation anxiety that is worth checking out as well. Um, this book is really good, and there's a new one. So get the newest one because the newest one has a protocol where you don't even crate your dog. You actually suspend absences. So a dog is with you all the time, and let me get this back in now. So your dog is with you all the time, and then you start with departure cues, and then you start like gradually leaving, coming back. Usually with really severe cases of SA, a lot of times medication's needed for the anxiety. But it's actually good because it can help your dog calm down, and then it makes the protocol go better and faster. So yes, usually medication, and usually that's something that you have to work on a with a trainer or behavior consultant, or go through a program like Pupford has the separation anxiety course, or go through like Marlena's book, stuff like that. Okay, Jennifer, I haven't written you down yet. Okay, Renee, I have a Foxhound Beagle Jack Russell mix, 7 months. She barks and nips when she doesn't get her way. How do I stop that? A couple things you can do. First, if it's attention seeking, like barking and nipping, I will tend to ignore it and walk away. But we still want to teach the dog what we want them to do instead. So I might turn my back, walk away, but then ask the dog to do something else that you can reward. It might not be something she wants, but if you ask her, like if she's barking or nipping and I just like ignore her, but then I'll say, sit, touch, then I can reward that. One thing I do about like nipping is they get like 3 strikes. So, and you can do the same thing with barking. With barking, since it's more like that's the way dogs communicate, sometimes I'll just interrupt and I'll say, hey, that's enough. And then I redirect them to do something else, like hand targeting, mat work. Sometimes I'll toss treats in a rug and say, go hunt, and have them go use their nose. So, Beagles and Jack Russells, they're, and Foxhounds, they're all hunting dogs. And so you want to make sure that they have an outlet for that. A good one is nose work. So snuffle mat, scatter feed. So treats out in the snow and the grass, on a rug, in a snuffle mat, so that your dog can use her nose. But for the nipping, the first time I redirect to a toy or a different behavior. If they don't want that and they nip again, second one is in a crate with a toy so that it's not a punishment for 1 minute, and let them like decompress. So it's kind of like a kid that's throwing a temper tantrum, go to your room or go stand in the corner for a minute. Then let her out. If she starts to bark and nip a third time, then it's in the crate, cover the crate, and she gets a nap. Because sometimes it's just that dogs are too overly stimulated and and they need a nap. So they just like really, really need to, decompress for a while. So with puppies, you want to make sure that they have enough physical and mental exercise. So there's a lot of behaviors that we don't want, that we can really cut down on by just making sure dogs have enough physical, mental exercise. Right now, here in Utah, people are having a hard time doing physical part of it, because we have had like record snow. My backyard, I probably have 4.5 feet of snow. My dogs can almost just step over the fence. And, um, until a trail gets groomed or something, like people don't want to go break trail in 2 feet of snow. So it's been really, really hard to get out with the weather. So things you can do inside. Another one that I would recommend, Renee, is a flirt pole. Um, so, oh, in fact, let's have that be our giveaway item tonight. Since we gave us a snuffle mat away last time. So we'll do a flirt pole. So a flirt pole, for those of you that don't know what it is, it looks like a cat toy for dogs, but it allows them to get out that energy that they have. So it lets dog chase. It also teaches impulse control. So I will ask a dog to sit and wait while I lower the toy. So let's just say this is the pole, and then there's an imaginary string and toy. So I start to lower it. If the dog goes for it and I don't release them, I lift it back up so they don't get it. So as soon as they wait, I'll lower the toy all the way to the ground, and then I'll say, go. And then I start running in a circle, and I let the dog chase the toy. They can grab it, they can shake, they can tug, and then I teach it drop it, and then I take possession of it again. So it is so good at getting energy out of dogs, but it lets them do all of that stuff, and it can help wear them out physically and mentally. And it can help with a lot of behavior problems. Lonnie, my pup has extreme separation anxiety, and I've been doing training daily and meds. He is a bundle of anxiety, but I still don't feel like anything I'm doing is helping. Any tips? Are you creating, so what is your day like? Do you work from home, or do you have to create them during the day, go to work, and then come back? So again, the old protocol was, to crate and then walk away. The problem with that is sometimes when the dog goes in the crate, like they know, oh, my owner's leaving. And, even if you give your dog like a stuffed Kong, and they're doing that, and then you leave, when the Kong is gone and they've licked everything out, then they suddenly realize that they're alone, and that panic attack comes back. So, Lonnie, with severe separation anxiety, it can take 8 months to a year. And if you're not seeing any improvement, sometimes then you need to back up and go back to like leaving for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If your dog can't do 10 seconds, then do 8 seconds. And first, we literally so with this guy, sometimes I would just get up, walk into the bathroom, and come back out and sit down. And so I have been doing like a little bit of stuff. When he first came, he was following me into the bathroom. Like I couldn't go anywhere. Follows me into the kitchen. So I would just like get up, go to another room, come back in, sit down. And so he learns that she's leaving, but she's coming back. And I literally am gone 1 to 2 seconds. And then I can build that up. So now I can actually go into the restroom, close the door, and then come back out. And he's still laying on the couch and is fine. So it's just teaching them like second by second that you're leaving, but you're going to come back. And the new protocol, they recommend suspended absences. So that means you don't ever leave your dog alone, or if you have to go to work, you find a pet sitter or a family member that can stay with your dog, maybe doggy daycare, anything like that. Now there's different levels of separation anxiety. So if some dogs, so like I had a dog that had separation anxiety, but it turns out that if he was with my other dogs, he was fine. So he just didn't want to be left alone. But then there's those dogs that have to be with their person. So even having another dog or another animal in the house with them isn't going to be enough. Like it's not going to help. So I would say I would also talk to your vet because sometimes you have to tweak medication and dosages, and it could mean that he needs a higher dosage. Um, and with the car, is he screaming like just in the car when you're driving or when you get somewhere and then you leave? So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into that, and I would almost start working on like just home first, and then maybe work with the car thing. So, like, my dog Jade has a little bit of. She doesn't like to be separated from me, but I can take her to work. I take her to work almost every day in the winter, not in the summer because it's too hot. And she can stay in the car for 2 hours and just lay there and be fine. Now, Maddie would eat every bag of treats in the car if I left her alone. Jade, I can have a bag of treats right on the seat with her. She will not touch them. Um, so it's just difference in personality. It's nothing that I've trained. I just got really lucky with Jade in that she can stay in the car and won't bother anything. But Maddie's been on prednisone, so she thinks she's always hungry. So she will go through the entire car to try to find something to eat. And chances are she will find it. So yeah, Lonnie, my best advice is to back up and just stay at that, start with that amount of time where your dog, doesn't scream and doesn't have anxiety, and then slowly work up from there. Okay, Amanda, Wisconsin. Thank you. Um, I know, Renee, it does seem like yesterday. I like doing these though, so I actually look forward to Tuesdays. Shireen, Pupford dry shrimp treats with training tonight really brings good results. Yes, mine do too, and I used them today. But yeah, they smell awful and they make your hands smell. Um, Facebook, I saw that a lot with the 30-day Perfect Pup app, which is completely free. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why people are saying it's not free. They'll try to get you to buy something the next day. Yeah. So yeah, all of you guys that have won, I'm glad to see that um, you haven't had any problems. Um, oh, Andrew, yeah, I get the same thing. Like, and those are just like they're ads for, don't let your dog run out of treats. If I ever ran out of treats where this is my living and I have to go to people's houses, I would be in so much trouble. So I usually have to, when I get down to like 4 or 5 bags, then I do another order because I could go through a bag of treats in a day, easy. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think that person was just um oh, Renee. Okay, so you're going to be living in a studio. Um and so it's smaller. Yeah, so at first I would just let her sniff and get her on a routine. And that's the first thing I would do is, we're going potty, we're eating, we're going to do enrichment, and just, let her get used to that. Dogs can adjust pretty well that way. And as long as you're getting it, out and getting exercise and mental enrichment, I think she'll be fine. But yeah, just give her 2 or 3 days to kind of settle into it and get used to her new surroundings. If you take something that's familiar, like her bed. So a mat or a bed or something that has her scent on it and the scent of your old place, it'll be good. Um, I don't think they have pork, and I don't know about bison. I was telling them that they should get lamb, like freeze-dried lamb treats, and come to find out they have lamb jerky. So, or tripe, like they have tripe, some tripe jerky. So I don't know if they have like specifically bison. I don't think they have pork. But they're coming out with new stuff like all the time, like with the shrimp. Amanda, let's see. I'll answer a couple of more, and then I'll do a drawing, and then I can stay on for a little bit and answer some more questions. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my water real quick. So just right there, I got up, walked to the other room, and he stayed laying down right there. First 2 days he was here, he would not have done that. Okay. Now I forgot what I think I'm answering. Okay, Amanda, do you have any recommendations for what I can use for outside the house for a dog that won't take anything? I've tried a lot of different treats and foods. She will only take my happy voice and excitement. Yeah, so some dogs, if they find your voice and excitement to be really exciting, you can use that. Um, I found that some, like, I use my high pitched dolphin voice when I'm trying to be like really fun. I have found a few dogs to be scared of it. So I have to be careful. Most dogs think that it's really fun and the party's over here and they'll do anything. But some dogs are like, oh my gosh, what is that? So each individual dog is different. I had a dog in puppy class and I was using milk bones for my low value. Like when we do leave it, I'll start with a milk bone and then they get something better, which is a treat. To this dog, the milk bone was the best of the best. So we had this dog leaving salmon treats because she wanted the milk bone. So you kind of have to go with your dog. The dog I worked with today, the lady said, my dog is not food motivated, won't take treats. However, she did like the Pupford salmon, and I worked with her the whole time today with just the salmon treats. So you could try things like sometimes I'll use squeeze like spray cheese. And like the things of baby food that's like the squeeze packets, and they have peanut butter now that you can squeeze. So sometimes I'll squeeze some of that out and they like to lick it rather than take a treat. So you could try something like that as well. I have a friend, I could never do this, but she makes her own tripe, um, kind of a puree tripe thing that she will then put in like camping. You can fill these things with like shampoo or whatever, and then squeeze it out. And so she will make that as a really high value treat for her dogs. And it's actually like tripe, which smells horrendous. And but she makes that and her dogs love it. And she uses that in really distracting environments. So her one dog, we went to the lake one day and she was using the tripe just because it was a really distracting, like boats out, people fishing. We had our dogs playing in the water. Very distracting day. and so she was using her tripe stuff. So, oh, Willie, you're under my feet and you have gas really bad. Dude, man, sometimes I think doggy gas is like the worst. Um, but yeah, so I had a dog that I was trying to train for search and rescue, and he didn't, he ended up not working out. But a lot of dogs will like hunt, like search and search and search and search for that toy to pop out of that Kong. He didn't really care about toys, but like his favorite thing was to get in your lap and have you like pet him and praise him and make a big deal about what he did. So yeah, you have to like look at the individual dog, and if your dog doesn't like treats or food, then you can use a ball, use your voice, do something that your dog really really loves, and use that for your reinforcer. Um, oh, Kirsten, hello, just in time. Okay. Um, oh, Andrea, I'm the worst. Everything you just said not to do, I do. Well, you know what I say is you do the best with what you know. There are so many things that I've done wrong in my whole journey in becoming a dog trainer. Because before I was a science based positive reinforcement trainer, I don't even know what they call them now. I call them aversive trainers, balance trainers, um, but the ones that will use force or intimidation, shock collars, prong collars, things like that. And that's how I learned, and that's what I knew. And when I was learning, I'm very lucky that I had some really good mentors that never judged me and just educated me. Like, well, this is, this would be better, and this is why. This is why we don't use shock collars. This is why we don't use prong collars. This is why we don't alpha roll dogs anymore and flip them on their back and force them to submit, because that can make them aggressive. Um, so yeah, you're not the worst. That's what these things are for, is to educate and to teach. Because like if you go on YouTube, you can find every kind of dog trainer under the sun. There's actually no certifications or anything. There's nothing that what's the word I'm looking for, um regulates. There's no anybody can go out and say I'm a dog trainer. We're trying to change that to where, people have to actually be certified and stuff to work with dogs. But because you can really mess up a dog if you don't know what they're doing, or if you don't know what you're doing. And people that use force or intimidation, yes, you can get a quick fix, but it's just because the dog is shutting down, and it might become worse later. So one of the side effects is aggression. So no, you're not the worst. You're just doing what you've learned, or you're doing what you know, which is why we do these, so that we can educate you on um, like science-based principles. I will tell you and then I'll do a drawing. My accountant just gave me a book, because I'm always reading either like religious books or dog behavior books. And I buy them faster than I can read them. And I'm like obsessed with learning everything I can about dog training, behavior, the hormones in a dog, the brain, like just everything. And she says, you need to read a book just for fun. She lent me a book. She goes, just read this just for fun. It's like fiction. It is so good. And I can't tell you how good it feels to just sit down and read a book for fun, and not be like highlighting everything and making notes and all this stuff. So, yes, that's why we do this, because we're always learning. And the associations that I'm certified through, we have to have continuing ed, which means we're always learning, and then we can help you guys. So one of the reasons that I agreed and like working with Pupford is because they are all positive reinforcement and science-based training, which is really good. Okay, let's do a drawing and then I'll answer a few more questions. Okay, so I have to get all these in a bowl. Buddy, I don't think he wants to play right now. My little 2-year-old dog is trying to get Ferdinand, the 11-year-old dog, to play, and he doesn't really want to play right now. Okay, let me mix these up. Tonight's winner, Andrea DeJude. Andrea, you won from Iowa. So, Andrea, what I need you to do is you're going to email hello@pupford.com and just tell them that you won. And tonight we're giving away a flirt pole. If you already have a flirt pole, just say, I already have a flirt pole. Can I have a bag of treats or something else? And they will gladly trade it. But yeah, I just saw down here, flirt pole was a game changer. Yes, it is. Although today I worked with a dog who has super high prey drive, and if she sees another dog, she's gone. And so I thought, well, let's do a flirt pole with her so she can get that energy out. Was not interested. Doesn't play with toys. Like, she's one of those dogs, not food motivated, but luckily she took my shrimp treats. Will not play with toys. Had no interest. Was kind of afraid of the flirt pole. So yeah, that kind of makes it hard. Yeah, so Julie, when I crate mine, I give them breakfast and toys. When I leave for the day, I give them a bone with peanut butter in it frozen. Yes. Oh, and see, Lonnie, oh, you have suspended absences. So if you're doing all of that and not seeing anything, I would go back to your vet and see if you're on the right medication, if you need a different dosage. And sometimes if like your trainer, your behavior consultant, your vet is like, we don't know what else to do, sometimes you have to see a veterinary behaviorist. And that is a vet who's gone to like 3 more years of school, and that's all they do is behavior. But they know more about like which medications. They can give you like a whole protocol to follow. And maybe like before you do that, I would probably go to your vet and say, nothing's working. Can we try a different med, or do we need to change doses? If you do that, before I would look up her, I will put her name in the chat. She actually has a whole, certification thing where people, oh, Brian, you do too win. You won like 3 weeks in a row, Brian. Like, I never win. Okay, so she has a whole certification where for people that just, oh yeah, Giselle, sorry, I should have scrolled through to see if new people came. But yes, next time I'll try and remember to go through and make sure I have everybody. But you know, she's like the separation anxiety queen. So get on Amazon and look for her book, but get the latest one. And it's like $20. It might be worth going through that and seeing if there's anything else that you can do before you go to a veterinary behaviorist. but that might be like the next step. Um, and Lonnie, I don't know of any in Canada. The one that I use with my clients is in Oregon, and his whole team is really good. But if you get to that point, you can message me, and I can like hook you up with them. So, okay, let me go back and I can answer a few more, and then I actually have to go get my oil changed. Let's see. Oh, let's see, Brandon. They're so smart. Peyton knows whenever we get ready to leave, no crate. Peyton won't go in, but she just sits staring out the window. And she knows when it's daycare time. Yes, dogs are very, very smart. And they learn our routines. Dylan, I have a dachshund that jumps when getting excited, or when sitting down on sofa, he jumps and snatches food. So for stuff like that, what I do is I will, if you know you have a food snatcher, I will put a dog in a downstay. And I do this in the kitchen too with dogs that like to jump up on the counter. So I will put him in a sit stay, get food ready. If I go to the couch, I'll put dogs in a downstay. And as long as they stay down, I will intermittently give them a treat, or my dogs beg, and it's my own fault because I do feed them from my plate, but only if they are staying and not like being pushy and trying to get it and things like that. So if they jump up, if they're like trying to push their way in, they have to sit and wait, or do it down and wait and show me that impulse control, and then they get it. I saw another one down here, 11-month-old puppy, wants to meet everyone she sees. So I do the same thing. So if a puppy is pulling me towards another person or another dog, like, oh my gosh, I want to say hi, I will stop, or even sometimes turn and go the other way. It's like, oh, come on, we're going to go this way. And then I'll ask them to sit and wait. And for a young puppy, for an 11-month-old, I might ask them to wait for like 4 or 5 seconds. But for like an 8-week-old, it might be 1 or 2 seconds. So it's like sit and wait. And if you can wait, then I'll say, okay, go say hi, and then release them. Because some people might not like dogs, and some people might have a dog that's not friendly and can't meet another dog. So you want to put your dog in a sit and a wait, until you say, hey, is it okay if our dogs meet? Is your dog friendly? Or can my dog say hi? Because some people might say, no, I'd rather not, or no, my dog's not friendly. So you don't want to just allow your dog to pull you up there. So you want to teach your dog some impulse control and to wait. And then if they say it's okay, then you can say, okay, go say hi. If they say no and your dog's been sitting and waiting, I would reward them for sitting and waiting and give them a treat or scatter feed or do something fun, so that your dog still gets rewarded for waiting, even though they don't really get to see the other dog. Yes, and if she jumps, so my dog Jade is a jumper. And so when she goes to meet somebody, I will tell people, like, turn your back on her if she jumps. And then she knows off. So if she goes to jump, I'll say, Jade, off. And then I'll ask her to sit. And as long as she's sitting, then I say, okay, now you can say hi to her. And then they can pet her. So it's kind of twofold. I'm telling people what to do. Like, don't give my dog any attention if she's jumping. I'll tell her off, and then I'll ask her to sit. The person that the dog wants to greet, can also ask the dog to sit, like, oh, if you sit, I will pet you. But then the dog learns that if they jump, nothing fun's going to happen. They don't get attention, they don't get treats. Um, and so when you say, what can I do to make her not jump on people and sit nicely? The hard part is the other people. So one of the reasons that Jade is so bad is that people still let her jump. Like, they're like, oh, I don't mind. She's so cute. Look at those big ears. And I'm like, but I mind. I don't want her to jump. But it gets reinforced enough to where she still does it because sometimes it works. So you have to kind of create this thing where it never pays off. So you have to have people, really tell people, buddy, what's the matter? Come here. Come here. You have to really tell people, like, she's in training. Please don't give her attention if she jumps. And then you can ask her to sit. And then when she sits, people can pet. Now, if she starts jumping again because she's excited, then I have people stop petting. And then so she only gets attention when they're sitting. So you just have to kind of really be diligent about doing it every single time. Because even if one person pets her when she is jumping up, then it reinforces that. Then it's like playing slot machines. Like, well, I'm going to keep trying because sometimes I win. So, yes, and part of this might be the fact that she was 4 weeks old. And there's a lot of things that they learn from mom and, sibling puppies and stuff that they don't get if they're taken away from mom too early. So yeah, just kind of think about what's being reinforced. So when I would go to work, I would, everybody at work knew I didn't want Jade to jump. So if she would jump, they would push her off and say, oh, Jade, get down. You're not supposed to jump. Well, they just reinforced it. They touched her, they pushed her away, they talked to her. And so to her, they're interacting with her, so it reinforced it. Okay, so you really want to be careful about what's getting reinforced. Okay, so I better go get my car in. So thank you guys for joining. Also, I think Ferdinand hears about Haddock. So he's been good for so long. See, now he's focused on the cat again. Hey. No, over here. This was his so thank you for joining. Same time next week, Tuesday, and we'll give away something else. If there's anything, I try to keep up on all of the Pupford products, but if there's something new that I happen to not see that you guys want to try, just say, hey, can we give away this tonight? And yeah, if it's within reason, of course I can. So yeah, we'll give away different things. So anyway, thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week.